Hello teachers, welcome to this 8th virtual session. Today we're going to be talking about error correction with our trainer, Ishali Salok. Hello Ishali, welcome.
Hello Danny, thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here with you.
Thank you. Remember teachers that in Teaching Help platform you can find more courses, lesson plans, and communities to share, formats, material, and information about teaching English. Do you want to improve the way you correct your students? If you want, stay tuned to this course because we're going to share about error correction techniques with our trainer Ishali Salok. She has academic experience in the Access, SEAL programs. She has also taken the TAC, SIT, ITOT certifications, and she studied PEM in English. Her working experience goes from being an assistant teacher in the Access program, working in a private school in Sonora, working as an English teacher in Uniview University. She is working currently in the Prosperity English program and being a trainer in the TTS program. Welcome Ishali, thank you for being here with us, sharing about your experience, and I hope we can learn a lot from error correction techniques with you.
Thank you so much Danny. As I said, I'm very happy to be with you and I'm very excited as well to share this topic with you. So we're going to start reading the goals of the session. So Danny, can you read them please?
Sure. Participants will be able to learn what error correction techniques are, learn why, when, and how to correct students' errors in speaking, and to observe examples of techniques where students are being corrected.
Okay, thank you so much. So that's something that we're going to discuss in this session. First, we're going to learn about what error correction techniques are. Then we're going to learn how, when, and why this is important, and also we're going to see some examples where these techniques are being applied in a real context.
Okay.
So let's get started. Okay, first, Danny, I would like to know what are error correction techniques for you?
Well, I think that error correction techniques are activities that we do or methodologies that we use to correct when students commit a mistake, make a mistake.
Exactly, that's something that we will talk about, and I have here a small definition. It says, there are effective ways to correct students' errors in speaking and in writing. There are many ways how we can correct students in different skills, but we're going to focus on speaking errors.
Okay, only speaking.
Yes, that is going to be the main topic of this session. So here I have two questions that I would like you to answer. First one is, why is it important to correct students according to your experience?
Well, according to my experience as an English teacher, I think that it's good to correct students because that's the only way we learn. If we want to learn from our mistakes, we have to reflect about them, but sometimes we don't identify our errors. So it's good for we to correct our students.
Exactly. I have this answer here as well. It says correcting students' errors is necessary in order to help students improve their skills. Because if you help them correct their mistakes, they will learn and improve a lot. Then here I have a second question. It says, when do you think it's the appropriate moment to correct students' mistakes?
I think that the appropriate moment to correct students' mistakes is right after they did a mistake. Right after they made a mistake, we should correct them. We should not wait a long time.
Right, so that's what you have done, right? But have you tried correcting your students in a different moment?
Yeah, during the class, I like to correct them sometimes individually and sometimes in front of the group. It depends on the situation.
Okay, thank you so much. Here I have different moments when we can correct our students, and as you said, we can correct them right after he or she made a mistake. Also, we can do it a lesson, and we can do it at the end of an activity or at the end of a class, so that we can give them feedback, right? So here we're going to find out about why it is important to correct students. First, as I said, we can correct students right after mistake or error. So here we have to be very careful because first we need to know our students, right? So if one of our students is repeating one over and over a mistake, we need to stop that moment and correct the student. Why? Because in that way we can avoid fossilization. And a fossilization is an error that becomes a habit from the student. And also we can correct them after an activity, for example, a role play, interview, or a presentation, conversation. So we can give them feedback and correct their mistake at the end of that activity, right? Why? Because in that way we won't cut the flow of our student speech, and we can do it during the lesson as well, because in that way we can avoid interrupting them when they start producing the language, because if we interrupt them in that moment they can feel uncomfortable or we can damage their confidence as well, and next time they won't share or use the language.
Yeah, I think it's very important to not cut the flow of the students when they are speaking, right?
Exactly. That's the key word for the session as well, because if we interrupt them every moment, we are going to damage their confidence and they won't participate anymore, right? Thank you so much for your comment. So let's continue with the session. And here I have another question: how to correct students? There are different techniques that can be used to correct students' errors and mistakes in speaking. So we can do it with someone's help, like peer correction, or it can be directly the teacher, right? So as you can see here, I have two ways how we can help students correct their mistakes while speaking. And I would like to share with you some examples of error correction. You will see how a teacher corrects a student's error or a mistake. For this, I need your help, Danny.
Okay.
Thanks. Here we have our first example. As you can see, there is a mistake, and we will correct it. Daniel, you will be the student, and I will be the teacher. So, Daniel, can you read the sentence, please?
Sure. Teacher, I go to the bank yesterday.
No, that's wrong. You must say, I went to the bank yesterday. Repeat, I went to the bank yesterday.
I went to the bank yesterday.
Thanks. Let's continue with number 2. Can you repeat the same sentence, please?
Okay. Teacher, I go to the bank yesterday.
I went to the bank yesterday, right?
Went. I went to the bank yesterday.
I went to the bank yesterday.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Can you repeat one more time?
Teacher, I go to the bank yesterday.
Okay. Yesterday I
go to the bank.
Okay, yesterday happened in the past, right?
The past. Went.
Yes,
Yesterday I went
exactly.
to the bank.
Yesterday I went to the bank. Right. Thank you so much, Danny. So this is more direct, as you could see. It was like only the teacher and the student. So let's continue with the next one. You will be the student and I will be the teacher.
Okay. Teacher, is this correct? I go to the bank yesterday.
Can someone help Danny, please? Edwin, can you help your classmate, please?
Yes. Danny, it's not go, it's went.
Can you repeat the same sentence, please?
I go to the bank? No, I went to the bank yesterday.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Edwin. So next time, Danny, I went to the bank yesterday.
I went to the bank yesterday.
Yes. Thank you so much. So those were our examples where error correction techniques were applied. As I said, we have teacher correction and student corrections, right? So we can have these two techniques in order to correct our students when necessary.
Okay.
Okay, here I would like to share with you some advice. These have worked for me in my classes, and this is something that I like to tell my students. Danny, can you read the first one, please?
Get to know very well your students' needs and interests.
Yes, have you done this with your students?
Yeah, it's something that we should do when we are teaching a group. get to know what are their likes, what are their interests, what music they like to hear, what TV shows they watch, so you can adapt your classes.
Exactly, and something important that I didn't add here, but it's also important to know our students' feeling, right? Because in
Yes.
that way we will know how they feel when they are corrected. Let's
Mm-hmm.
go with number 2. It says make them feel part of your class. Okay, so it's not only teachers, students, and classmates. We need to make them feel that we are a family and that we are learning all together, and we need to make them feel part of our class. Number 3, Danny.
Remind them that it's normal to have mistake or an error.
As I said, that we need to remind them that it's normal to have a mistake or error, because sometimes what happens is that if we don't tell them this, they may feel really bad when we correct them. So we need to tell them that it's very common and very normal, because in that we can see that they are learning,
Yes.
right? And the last one, it says errors are part of the learning process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we make the mistake or they have any grammar or pronunciation error, that's part of their learning process. So they need to do that in order to learn.
Yeah. Also, I would like to share that we as teachers, we should try to create an atmosphere of confidence where our students feel confident of making mistakes and having different errors. If not, students will laugh about themselves when they make errors, and they will not like to participate.
Exactly. That's something very, very important, Danny. And as last part of our presentation, I have this for you. This is something that we can remind our students and also something that we can keep in mind. It says, after all, errors and mistakes are part of the fabric of the classroom and are examples of students trying out new things with confidence, right? So I was saying they need to make errors and mistakes in order to learn. So thank you so much, Danny. This was the presentation of today, and it's a pleasure for me to be here with you to share this with everyone as well.
Thank you so much, Ishiri, for sharing with us. Teachers, remember that in the presentation there are some links where you can find more information, and you will have more information in the course. Thank you, and see you in the next one. See you, Ishiri. Thank you for sharing.
Bye-bye. Thank you.